Yep.
Greetings and salutations. It's one of my favorite nights of the year, and it's because I get to share some good things, and it means even more when I get to do it with my friends. So thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for being my friends. And gee, we've been doing ACIM talks with Reverend Jim. We started in April of 2023. So we've been together with this Zoom program about a little over 3 years now. And I think that the best is yet to come. I've been excited about some of the things we've talked about and studied over the years, and no less so what we're doing tonight with this study of that little book called the Kybalion. And it's one of the best reads that I've experienced. It's not just the content to me, but how well written it is to where I can follow it. I may not believe it, but I can follow it. And it just makes it comfortable and enlightening at the same time. Any comments from you guys before we get started tonight?
Yeah.
I'll just say my brother's a Buddhist, but he was visiting with me this past weekend, and I showed him this book, and
Yes.
he loved it, and he ordered it right away from Amazon, so because he wanted to
Okay.
read it, because he said yeah, he just thought it was a great book.
Okay.
So
Yeah, me too. And so I'll tell you, thanks, Kathleen. If there's nothing else, without further ado, why don't we get into it? The Kybalion is first tonight, and after that, we'll take a look at, hopefully, we'll have time to take a look at our Oracle workbook lesson 32. So that's kind of the plan. So let's get our readers going and we'll get started. I have Sherilyn as reader one, and Dee is two, and Ron is three, and Kathleen is four, and Hilda's not reading. Have I got this good?
Right.
Oh, Joni, I'm
Good,
sorry.
good.
Let me get you on the list. Are you reading, Joan, or
Oh,
no?
I'm not reading.
All right. So Sherilyn one, Dee two, Ron three, Kathleen four. Let's make Jim five. And I think that will be a nice number for our readers tonight. We
Okay.
are on page 23, and 23 is the beginning of a new chapter. It's called Mental Transmutation. What does transmute mean? He's going to talk about it, but just what do you think transmutation means?
Change from one form to another.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, that's what I think that's a great definition. So what I'm hearing is say, remember the previous chapter, we did a brief discussion of each of the seven Hermetic principles. And so what we're going to talk about tonight, to my mind, is how these principles can be managed to our benefit. In order to manage the principles, you have to rise above them, don't you? in
I think
order
so.
to not be in it, in order to see the forest for the trees. There's a certain way of rising above the specific influences of these laws to where you can manipulate them to your advantage. Now, I don't know if we're going to get any people changing water to wine or stuff like that, given our level of expertise, but that's what it means. It says mental. So what's mental transmutation then?
Changing your mind.
All right, all right, all right. So with that introduction, I don't know if you needed it from me, but Sherilyn, why don't you get us started there?
All right. Chapter 3, Mental Transmutation. Mind, as well as metals and elements, may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. True hermetic transmutation is a mental art. As we have stated, the Hermetists were the original alchemists, astrologers, and psychologists, Hermes having been the founder of these schools of thought. From astrology has grown modern astronomy. From alchemy has grown modern chemistry. From the mystic psychology has grown the modern psychology of the schools. But it must not be supposed that the ancients were ignorant of that which the modern schools suppose to be their exclusive and special property. The records engraved on the stones of ancient Egypt show conclusively that the ancients had a full comprehensive knowledge of astronomy, the very building of the pyramids showing the connection between their design and the study of astronomical science. Nor were they ignorant of chemistry, for the fragments of the ancient writings show that they were acquainted with the chemical properties of things. In fact, the ancient theories regarding physics are being slowly verified by the latest discoveries of modern science, notably those relating to the constitution of matter. Nor must it be supposed that they were ignorant of the so-called modern discoveries of psychology. On the contrary, the Egyptians were especially skilled in the science of psychology, particularly in the branches that the modern schools ignore, but which nevertheless are being uncovered under the name of psychic science, which is perplexing the psychologists of today and making them reluctantly admit that there may be something in all after that.
Yeah.
In it after all.
So he finally concluded a paragraph, right?
Yes.
Which gives us a chance to see if we can digest some of what's being said. Are you surprised by anything that's being said so far?
No.
No.
What about the pyramids showing the connection between their design and the study of astronomical science? Do you know what that connection is? Have you ever heard anything about the building of the pyramids and their connection to the position of the planets and things like that? I have.
I have not, but I'm not surprised. I'm sure they must have been built with particular things in mind.
Yeah. Um, there used to be, I don't know, maybe it's still around. It was called spirit science. and it used animated characters to deliver their message. And they said that the pyramids could not have possibly been built by men carrying these stones over distances and then building up really high with such precision that everything fitted together perfectly. They said it's impossible, and that another method must have been used given how the pyramids were constructed so perfectly. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Yeah, I've begun to hear some of that information. And when you think about the pyramids and what they mean, you almost have to believe that there was some mental transmutation in the creation of them, something
Yeah,
greater than mankind.
that's what spirit science says. Comments from anyone else about the pyramids? What have y'all heard about the building of the pyramids?
I've never believed that man could build them. It's just physically impossible.
You know,
Yeah,
It fits in with what we're saying here.
you know, must have been a different method used. I've wondered things like, I don't know, again, I was a Bible student for a while, and I remember they talked about this biblical figure called, oh God, who was it? Is it Methuselah? He was 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And I've heard of other people that had these incredible lifespans. What happened to us that we only live 70, 80, 90 years now? It's like you think that when you go back in time, stuff gets older and cruder and worse.
instead of
And
better.
like if you look at ancient artifacts, you think they'd be crude and all of that, and yet a lot of them were very sophisticated. What happened to our species? It's almost like we got dumber instead of smarter. It's like there was this fall and we're slowly creeping our way back up. I've heard some theories about that also.
Well, there's also another theory about that, that we're talking about aliens. And I'm thinking it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but I'm still, if in fact there is a world beyond ours, it could be possible that they were on an expedition and ended up here.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody who said, as an example, would be that maybe the Earth, we're really a stranger to the Earth, because there's certain things that human beings cannot easily do. Like for instance, you can't lie in the sun for 5 hours and you burn to a crisp. Well, any animal you can think of, they live under this and it doesn't bother them. So why is it that they can exist and that includes the monkeys and all the other creatures, yet we cannot? And that's only like one example. So the question lends itself, particularly in the Bible, they're talking he was taken into heaven. You can interpret that any old way you want to. But
Yeah.
if you take it at its face, so you could say, oh, we did in some way generations and generations and generations ago really ended up here by either design or by mistake. And we now have to figure out a way to adjust to the world that we live in now. And maybe it's only temporary.
Yeah, I've heard some unusual stories and about how people we would consider aliens inhabited here. And we might have been part of them. I forget what they were called. Maybe some of you know some of the names and that from these stories. It's been a long time for me since I watched Spirit Science and the like. But looking at the talents that are being described here by the ancients says maybe we've lost something and we need to find it again, is where it's going. At any rate, anything else that you saw, anything you disagree with so far? Okay, well, you're a pretty open-minded group, so I'm not surprised. Let's continue. We're up to D, and we're on page 24. It starts with transmutation as a term. Do you see it?
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. We're doing the next.
I'm sorry, D, I can't hear you.
Okay, I thought we were reading Truth Is, so we're doing
Yeah.
transmutation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oops,
Okay.
oops, oops. You're my bad. Please. The truth is, right.
The truth is that beneath the material chemistry, astronomy, and psychology, that is, the psychology in its phase of brain action, the ancients possessed the knowledge of transcendental astronomy, called astrology, of transcendental chemistry, called alchemy, of transcendental psychology, called mystic psychology. They possess the inner knowledge as well as the outer knowledge, the latter alone being possessed by modern scientists, among the many secret branches of knowledge possessed by the Hermetists, which was that known, excuse me, actually, oops, sorry, I slapped my page, bro.
Sorry.
Okay. The latter alone being possessed by modern scientists. Among the many secret branches of knowledge possessed by the Hermeticists was that known as mental transmutation, which forms the subject matter of this lesson.
You want to read some more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Transmutation is a term usually employed to designate the ancient art of the transmutation of metals, particularly of the base metals into gold. The word transmute means to change from one nature, form, or substance into another, to transform, Webster. And accordingly, mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms, and conditions into others. So you may see that mental transmutation is the art of mental chemistry, if you like the term, a form of practical mystic psychology.
We together? Yeah. Joan, you following okay?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a well-written book, to my mind. All right. We're up to Ron.
Yes. But this means far more than appears on the surface. Transmutation, alchemy, or chemistry on the mental plane is important enough in its effects to be sure, and if the art stopped there, it would still be one of the most important branches of study known to man. but this is only the beginning. Let us see why. The first of the 7 Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism, the axiom of which is the all is mind, the universe is mental, which means that the underlying reality of the universe is mind, and the universe itself is mental, that is existing in the mind of the all. We shall consider the principle in succeeding lessons, but let us see the effect of the principle if it be assumed to be true.
Have you heard this before?
Not specifically.
Sounds like the course.
That's where I've heard it, is in
Yeah.
the Course in Miracles. How old is this? It's ancient, but it's occult knowledge. It's hidden knowledge. And the reason it had to be hidden is that it could not have been practiced openly because people would be against it. They would want to crucify him. Don't you think?
Mm.
Yeah.
But that made me
Well, religions are
say that again, dear. Hilda?
religions are very confining. So
Yeah.
either you believe a
Yes.
particular path, or or you're damned forever, or you
Yeah.
go to hell, and they make sure that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Course in Miracles. I thought of that there. Please continue, Ron.
Okay, if the universe is mental in its nature, then mental transmutation must be the art of changing the conditions of the universe along the lines of matter, force, and mind. So there's a reason that changing the conditions of the universe is capitalized. So keep that in mind.
I
So
will.
so you see, therefore, that mental transmutation is really the magic of which the ancient writers had so much to say in their mystical works, and about which they gave so few practical instructions. If all be mental, then the art which enables one to transmute mental conditions must render the master the controller of material conditions as well as those ordinarily called mental.
Thanks, Ron. I'll tell you what's bothering me. There's this series of books, and I tried to look it up today because I thought about it before. And it's about these adventures of this guy who is a like an understudy of a wizard. And I thought his name was Don Juan or Don Juan. Do you know?
Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda.
Yes.
Adventures of Carlos Castaneda. Don Juan was his
Uh,
sorcerer.
you know what, Dee, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah.
Get
I'm sorry,
closer.
because I'm laying back and I probably need a microphone, but
You too laid back.
It's the Carlos Castaneda books. His Don Juan was his the sorcerer his teacher or his master.
Carlos Castanedas, right? Something like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that series of books. And he would transmute stuff and do all kinds of things. But he was a serious character. He was the master, and this guy that wrote the book was his like apprentice and trying to learn from him. But it reminds me in the Kybalion, what we're talking about, of masters like Carlos Castaneda's. Is what's the title of the book? Is that do you know?
He has a whole lot of a
Yeah.
couple of them. So I can't remember, like something with reality. I listened to like 3 of his audiobooks on
Me.
it where he's talking. Yeah, and I at first I thought, well, was he on Ellis? I know he did the Mescalito, but in my own experiences, I've come across some of his stuff to be true. So I was like, oh,
Wow.
yeah. So I was like, I can understand why people thought it's crazy, but it's really, I was like, oh, like for example, animals. He mentions how an animal had
Yes.
Spanglish, and I talked to a turtle one time who had a French accent, and I was like, I thought I was making this up, and I'm like, I can't make it up, and then come to find out it was a pet turtle by Haitians who lived in Louisiana who let the pet go in Florida in a pond. So I was like, I thought it was so funny when Carlos Castaneda said this coyote came up to him and had a Spanglish accent. And it dawned on me that our animals, the ones who are, they pick up our accents and everything. They talk like us. But if you really can talk to animals, they talk just like us. So I think it's the funniest thing. Like, so if you talk whatever accent you have, the animals have that. And we see that like on Dr. Dolittle in these shows, but we don't realize that stuff is really real. That's crazy.
So you may not know too many people like my friend D, who I've known for 20 years. But D, do you know Kathleen? Have y'all met before?
Yes.
Only on here. Here,
Yeah,
right?
on here. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know too many people like Kathleen. But in the Course in Miracles, in the manual for teachers, there's this section called Are Psychic Powers Desirable? And Jesus says there are no supernatural powers, just natural abilities some people don't know they have yet. So when I run into folks like Dee or Kathleen, they speak of abilities that I just haven't gotten quite there yet. So it's more a kind of admiration than a rejection. Okay. I remember Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, in one of his writings. He said, Jesus is the architect of what we all must become. Okay. So, human at its peak will have all kinds of powers, not new powers, just powers discovered, you see. That's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Course in Miracles, how it removes the blocks. I think that's really what we're doing. We're just removing all of our fake blocks slowly just to realize, wow, we can we can control the universe.
Wow.
We are the universe. Eventually, I realize we are the universe.
And then I go, there are millions and millions of D's in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, there could be millions and millions, but how would you notice them in face of billions? They're kind of a drop in the bucket if you put it in the fraction, right?
Mhm.
If you watch all these new superhero movies, I mean, I didn't really get into them until Thor and all that started coming out, but they embody a lot of these concepts. Like that one, I don't know which one it was, where it was the villain, his super villain. He had like thousands of his versions of himself all coming together.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking. Yeah, and it's like it just yeah. I think they
yeah,
awakened something in us, like to remind us, oh, we do have these abilities and more.
yeah.
We just forgot.
I don't follow those too much, but I know what you're saying. These super hero, what's the series? I don't
Marvel.
know.
Oh, the Avengers. They're the Avengers.
The
Avengers.
Avengers series and things like that. So these powers may not be fantasy at all. Again, Sai Guru says, I'm not trying to teach you to be superhuman. I'm trying to teach you that being human is super. Other comments? If not, I'll try and get back on track.
And well, I was just gonna say, it's spirit or who it's spirit or whatever the power that's beyond us. By having those movies, by having all those other things about implanting the seed to
Mm,
awaken what is within us,
yeah,
without really having to say, well,
yeah.
it's this, and this. You look at it and you go, well, that's a possibility.
Some people do.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there are a lot of people that's fantasy, it's impossible. But for some who are open-minded, yeah, okay. And maybe it could be a good thing if it's managed well.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose is meaning. It's not what you do, it's why you do it that gives it all the meaning it has. Isn't that Course in Miracles? Anyhow, thank you, Kathleen. As a matter of fact, did you finish reading what you wanted to read? Kathleen, weren't you reading?
No,
No, I
zero.
hadn't started yet.
Oh, well, if I can remember, where are we? And then maybe Kathleen can start. I lost my place.
Isn't it midway through the page 25?
Is it if the universe is mental?
Yes.
No.
No.
Ron already read that because he taught.
Oh,
I think it's as a matter of fact.
All right.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
All
where
right.
we are.
All right. So you want to pick up, Kathleen, right there then?
Sure. As a matter of fact, none but the advanced mental alchemists have been able to attain the degree of power necessary to control the grosser physical conditions, as much as the control of the elements of nature. The
Wait a minute.
production.
Back up. Could you just start that whole thing again? You missed. Just start over. As a matter of fact,
As
maybe
a
it's
matter
me.
of fact, none but the advanced mental alchemists have been able to attain the degree of power necessary to control the grossier physical conditions, such as the control of the elements of nature, the production and cessation of tempests, the production and cessation of earthquakes, and the other great physical phenomena. But that such men have existed and do exist today is a matter of earnest belief to all advanced occultists of all schools. That the Master exists and have these powers, the best teachers assure their students, having had experiences which justify them in such belief and statements. These masters do not make public exhibitions of their powers, but seek seclusion from the crowds of men in order to better work their way along the path of attainment. We mention their existence at this point merely to call your attention to the fact that their power is entirely mental and operates along the lines of the higher mental transmutation under the Hermetic principles of mentalism. The universe is mental, the Kybalion.
What's tempest? I didn't get to look that up. You
Tempest is
remember
a
reading
storm.
that?
A
Okay,
storm.
a storm?
Yes.
That sounds
tempest.
close enough. Okay, we don't need to ask any of the electronic things.
All right.
Thank you. Any other comments here? We doing all right?
I wanted to comment.
Yes.
You know, it talks about like in the earlier paragraph about the occult. They didn't teach the occult secrets, but it dawned on me that you know when you read these books, they probably couldn't explain it anyways if it's all mental and you're growing or evolving or removing blocks. It's hard enough to try to describe, you know, unless you're channeling some divine information. So it makes sense that they don't really have, they can't really relay like the secrets on how to do it. Because how do
Yeah.
you do it? Yeah, how do you explain something that's ineffable like
Yeah.
that? Like how to
Yeah.
control the rain or start a hurricane or put down.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
describe how you do it in your brain?
Good
You know,
point.
that's like
Good
saying
point.
move your hand, move your arm right. You really just have to think it. You don't really know how to tell somebody to do it. You just tell them and they
Yeah.
just
Indeed.
figure it out, you know? It's
Yeah.
like walk. Well, okay. How do you describe how to tell yourself to walk, you know? So it's like if they're stopping or starting rain or whatever they're doing.
How do
How,
you explain that in words yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you. Other comments here?
Well, I think it's the same. I think we all experience it on a smaller level when we're studying, and we experience that something that's beyond words. So if it's a feeling or experience that's beyond words, it's hard for us to explain to someone else what we felt. So we all have the ability to do that. We're just doing it at a maybe a lower frequency.
For me, I guess a practical example is how do you really describe the the experience of the Holy Spirit in you? It's very hard to put into words, but when you do, you know it happened, but you can't really. It's kind of beyond words. That's what it made me think of, right?
Exactly.
And I want to tell you about this wonderful thing inside you that can just take over your life and run it well and lovingly and happily. Uh, what does it feel like? You know when you feel it, but it's very difficult to share with others in words. Thanks, both of you. Other comments here? All right, let's keep it going here. I think we're up to me. Where are we, my friends?
But students,
Students and
But students and hermetists of lesser degree than masters, the initiates and teachers, are able to freely work along the mental plane in mental transmutation. In fact, all that we call psychic phenomena, mental influence, mental science, new thought phenomena, etc., operates along the same general lines. For there is but one principle involved, no matter by what name the phenomena be called. The student and practitioner of mental transmutation works among the mental plane, transmuting mental conditions, states, etc., into others according to various formulas, more or less efficacious. I looked that up. It means effectively, more or less effectively. The various treatments, affirmations, denials, etc., of the schools of mental science are but formulas, often quite imperfect and unscientific, of the Hermetic art. The majority of modern practitioners are quite ignorant compared to the ancient masters, for they lack the fundamental knowledge upon which the work is based. How are we doing?
Okay.
We're back to Sherilyn then.
Okay. Not only may the mental states, etc., of oneself be changed or transmuted by Hermetic methods, but also the states of others may be and are constantly transmuted in the same way, usually unconsciously, but often consciously by some understanding the laws and principles. In cases where the people affected are not informed of the principles of self protection. And more than this, as many students and practitioners of modern mental science know, every material condition depending upon the minds of other people may be changed or transmuted in accordance with the earnest desire, will, and treatments of person desiring changed conditions of life. The public are so generally informed regarding these things at present that we do not deem it necessary to mention the same at length, our purpose at this point being merely to show the Hermetic principle and art underlying all of these various forms of practice, good and evil, for the force can be used in opposite directions according to the Hermetic principles of polarity. In this little book, we shall state the basic principles of mental transmutation, that all who read may grasp the underlying principles and thus possess the master key that will unlock the many doors of the principle of polarity. We
May as well finish. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. We shall now proceed to a consideration of the first of the Hermetic seven principles, the principle of mentalism, in which it is explained the truth that the all is mind, the universe is mental. In the words of the Kybalion, we ask the close attention and careful study of this great principle on the part of our students, for it is really the basic principle of the whole Hermetic philosophy and of the Hermetic art of mental transmutation.
So when we first started reading this little book, and one of the things that stood out was it said all truths are half truths. Do you remember that? And I asked you guys, is that what A Course in Miracles says? And you kind of responded, no. Hilda, what?
Well, I'm kind of thinking that if you're talking like in terms of evaluation of whatever it is that you're talking about, you don't have as an individual the whole story about the reasons and the effects of it. And in fact, that's when we're talking about the higher self and the lower self being on a different level and being able to, if you're able to put it together, like, Reverend Cindy would say, then you create like a whole human understanding, I suppose would be the word.
Okay.
See, it's hard to explain, but I'm saying you as a human being don't have all the information necessary to make the conclusions. And it
Yes.
does shape exactly, and I forget where it is in the Course of Miracles, So, and it is in unity. I mean, it's a common way of looking at things to say we do not know.
Yeah.
So we need that, right?
Well, one of the things for me is, let's use your analogy, the small s self and the capital S self. One might say that the small s self is under the rule of the 7 Hermetic principles. But the capital S self sits on top of these principles and manages the principles. So, in order to decide which side of polarity, let's take good or evil, wouldn't you have to be a master to say, okay, which side is this going to be on? Do I want the truth to be a half truth or half lie? If you
No,
can
I don't think you
manage
have to.
this,
I don't think you have to make a choice from how your perspective. I just think that if you're doing like what this book is saying, then you see that it's all like one. It's just like darkness, the absence of light. Everything is really just light. So I think those higher masters, they see it's like they just become useless. Like the course, it talks about like how we believe in money and pills or something like that, like it, with the sickness. But it's because we believe in it, but it's really not true or not, an illusion. And so I kind of think that when you're able to start transmuting these elements and do these things that this book is starting to talk about, I think you just start, it's like toys at first. It's fun. And then I think as they evolve, they just let them go and they want to move to the higher attainment or whatever, to the love, to one. But
yeah,
I mean, maybe, who knows how long that takes? Maybe it takes more than one lifetime. I don't know. Because it sounds like it would be really cool to, be able to control the elements and,
yes,
send thoughts and control people's minds,
oh,
basically is what they said. But at the same time, it's just like I would guess after you do it, it's like, to me, I think of it as like when you hear people's secrets, with my job, I hear lots of stuff. And it's like every 10 secrets is the same. So I don't really care no more. It's all, you done heard it all. In the beginning, when I was younger, it's like, oh, this is so gossy.
yeah.
It's just so juicy. But now it's like everybody has the same problems, same issues, same secret stuff in their nightstand. So what difference does it make?
I'm saying I agree. So maybe there's a novelty to being able to manage and decide. Eventually, though, the novelty may wear off, as Dee is saying, and you just choose to be somewhere else above the Hermetic law. You don't get carried with the waves. Here, let me give you another example, a Sadhguru again. You're out in the Pacific Ocean, and there are these horrendous big old waves, okay? And you're afraid of them, right?
Right.
But if you're a professional surfer, Are you afraid of the big waves, or do you look for them specifically? They're your greatest joy, what everyone else is afraid of. It's called mastery, like we're talking about here. So mastery allows us to turn darkness into light. It allows us to decide, do we want to be murderers or saviors? So depending on will and desire, you can manage the Hermetic principles to your advantage. Will and desire. Where have you heard about will? Have you heard about that in A Course in Miracles?
Yes.
Yeah, that can sit above and allow us to manage the polarities. That's what I think he was alluding to here. What do you think? Too deep? I
One
like
way of looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's really just cool that you can, you know, they break it down and they mention, you know, all of these like different abilities and just kind of touch upon these things. And it's like part of it, because of Course in Miracles, you're like, of course, it seems natural. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there's that part, well, I haven't done it yet, so that's still cool. But at the same time, Course in Miracles, nothing lets you know that nothing is like off limits. Nothing.
Oh.
So
So
that gives that foundation.
do you want to manage truth or be in truth?
I want to be truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Managing truth can kind of get boring after a while too. Takes a lot of work. We finished another chapter. How's that?
Explain that, what you just said, managing truth. I didn't really understand that one too.
Managing truth is a lot of work. Being in truth is no work at all.
I think when you try to manage truth, it means you still want to be in control. And when you are just being, it's like you're free floating.
Well said. I'm with you on that. Good insights.
That was a good answer. Yeah, like
Let's see if we can get into our Oracle text reading tonight. It's a one-pager, and I think we have time to do it along with our meditation that goes with it. So we're in A Course in Miracles, if you can get your books out or that. In the FIP, well, it's page 49. In the FIP, I've started doing D. Newman's 7-day-a-week morning A Course in Miracles group, and they use a different version of A Course. So we're in the FIP on page 49. So are we on the same page here, folks? All right.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
D, you want to start us out here?
oh, I'm sorry, I don't have it up yet. Could you skip
Oh,
me?
no problem. And if not, we can start with another reader.
What page are we on?
Page 49 in the
49.
Workbook for Students,
Okay.
lesson 32. How are we doing, D?
Oh, I'm not yet. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me look it up. Lesson 32.
Yeah.
Because you know, I got the PDF version, so it's not the same.
All right.
Do you want to let someone else go ahead and read?
Okay, let's go to Ron.
Okay, I found it.
Yes, sir.
I have invented the world I see. Today we are continuing to develop the theme of cause and effect. We are not the victim of the world you see because you invented it. You can give it up as easily as you made it up. You will see it or not see it as you wish. While you want it, you will see it. When you no longer want it, it will not be there for you to see.
And do two also, please.
The idea for today, like the preceding one, applies to your inner and outer worlds, which are actually the same. However, since you see them as different, the practice periods for today will again include two phases, one involving the world you see outside you and the other the world you see in your mind. In today's exercises, try to introduce the thought that both are in your own imagination.
So, Dee, did you find it or should we go to Kathleen?
Oh, I find it. I can read.
All right.
Okay. Again, we will begin the practice periods for the morning and evening by repeating the idea for today 2 or 3 times while looking around at the world you see as outside yourself. Then close your eyes and look around your inner world. Try to treat them both as equally as possible. Repeat the idea for today unhurriedly as often as you wish, as you watch the images your imagination presents to your awareness.
Do 4 and then we'll have Kathleen finish us up.
For the 2 longer practice periods, 3 to 5 minutes are recommended, with not less than 3 required. More than 5 can be utilized if you find the exercise restful. To facilitate this, select a time when few distractions are anticipated and when you yourself feel reasonably ready.
Thank you, dear. Kathleen, you want to do 5 and 6?
Sure. These exercises are also to be continued during the day as often as possible. The shorter application consists of repeating the idea slowly as you survey either your inner or outer world. It does not matter which you choose. The idea for today should also be applied immediately to any situation that may distress you. Applying the idea, telling yourself, I have invented this situation as I see it.
So we're creating mental imprints. Why are we doing it mentally?
World is mental.
Let's just spend a few minutes in reflection and we'll call it a night. I brought some music here, kind of as usual. And let's just think about I have invented the world I see. It is a mental projection. So thank you for coming out tonight. And I hope you got some value out of it. Any final comments, insights, anything you want to say before we go?
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very
Yep.
welcome. Dee?
I thought you
thank you.
ended that beautifully. Like it reminded me, I miss your groups because you always pick the best music and the experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. This young lady, oh God, 2000, we met around 2008 in the sanctuary at the study group. And here we are all these years later. I want to close with one thing from me. Look at the introduction to the workbook. It's worth repeating. It's paragraph 4. The purpose of the workbook is to train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. Why is it important to train your mind? Because that is where everything happens according to the law of mentalism. So when we started in this stuff, you say, well, Jim, as usual, you're crazy. And I hope you don't see it as crazy as you may have seen it at first. We work with the mind because all change is a change of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good evening. I love you. What else can I do? That's what I am, man.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Jim. Love you too.
Take care, man.
Hey,
See y'all
Yeah.
next time. Bye-bye.
Be well.
Thank you.
Bye bye.